Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. So this video is about how the left needs to change. Before I get into the points that I wrote down, I just want to point out that there needs to be a sound plan presented. A tax plan, a plan with vice taxes and luxury taxes that bring in at least $36 billion a year, and wealth taxes that bring in $200 billion or more a year preferably. And I have various plans in regards to that. And they also need to make it clear to people why these plans are very affordable. They need to double down on that. They need to show them how cost-effective spending would end homelessness, end child hunger, would solve a lot of problems, including the Social Security issue and Medicaid. So point number one, moral precision is key. All leftists should have fair representation in the Central Democratic Committee, if there is one. So point number one is about moral representation and fair representation. So all the types of Democrats that are out there should have fair representation in the Central Democratic Committee. And if there isn't one, there should be one. Point number two, the gaslighting and the playing stupid should end. The truth is the best way to go. Point number three, we do not all have to agree on everything, but we should all agree that we should support individual rights and we should try to have an open mind within reason. Point number four, we should all want wealth taxes with very sound and cost-effective spending. Point number five, caring for the poor, including immigrants, should be a high priority for people, and one solution is creating regions for the immigrants, the illegal immigrants, if you want to call them that, where we tax them at higher rates. And I forgot the politically correct term for them, and I just want to make this video while I still can. They sabotage me and persecute me, and so it's very hard to make videos these days. Okay. Also, we need to fix the immigration system. Again, we need to fix the immigration system, especially since Republicans keep citing that immigrants come here illegally. Keyword, illegally. We need to expose them as the group that is dominated by racism and greed, which is what they are. And granted, the left is not perfect, but that's a key part in making sure that the Democratic Party is positioned to win every election from now on. Point number six, we need to discuss what is fair for every group and not let various LGBT side movements stigmatize the left and the LGBT community unfairly. There are various movements that are doing just that. Movements that are pushing for child sex changes that take place behind their parents' backs. The gender-neutral bathroom crowd. People who want trannies in sports. And the various debaucheries of the tech sector, which include editing people's channels without their permission, and internet censorship. These things very much get in the way. We see the child sex ed agendas. Now, some people might agree with them, some people might disagree with them. These things aren't as important as winning the election and securing other forms of justice for everybody. And some of these things, at least arguably, are not about justice at all. The fact that the right wing cites that there's very bad performance in school, that 70% of middle schoolers do poorly in math and reading, and they cite very disturbing statistics when it comes to fourth graders. I have my theories about why this is. There's higher rates of autism. Health is, people are suffering, from poor health and so on and so forth, and that has to do with these things. There's various things that are taking place that are causing children to be traumatized. There's sexual abuse that's taking place, and I have my beliefs about how prevalent child sex abuse is these days. And I think that it is worse than ever by my calculations. I could be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure that's a huge part of why they're doing poorly in school. We see on the news all the time these teachers who are having sex with these children, and that's not the only one. They're not the only ones. There's all kinds of people doing these things, and that we should do something about that. Also, we must stand against cancel culture. It is very undemocratic for factions of the Democratic Party to take part in the cancel cultures and cancel culture that we see taking place. Very undemocratic, very heartbreaking. People that are supposed to be the allies of those who want freedom and justice, instead working with corporations to stab their erstwhile compatriots in the back through the heart. Point number 7. Most Democrats want their freedoms, and if we lose certain corporate groups and a small group of people, we should more than make up for it by attracting people who are currently on the right wing and middle sides. Okay, people shouldn't be worried about losing their constituents if they do what's right. We can draw in millions of Americans who historically don't vote left. We don't need people who are adverse to justice and freedom. Number 8. People should insist on vice taxes, luxury taxes, pet food taxes, and junk food taxes to help justify the wealth taxes. These are necessary taxes to help people solve the problems we face in America today. And they should also cite these massive tax breaks that have taken place in recent years. These tax breaks for the rich. Okay, they did not work. They are not working. Trump's whole first term passed by. Biden's, came and went. Biden came and went, and we see that Trump at this point is 2 months and counting into his presidency, and we do not see any positive effects from the original tax breaks for the rich. And that's not a coincidence. Point number 9. The core committee should also insist on restructuring the school system to have 2 major compartments. 1, a traditional class load, and 2, various programs with a lot fewer classes and a lot less homework. There should be classes that are designed to make it so that students land guaranteed jobs with a living wage after they graduate high school, and even better ones after they graduate college. The emphasis of the school system should be helping these people have the tools they need and the information they need, the knowledge they need to land jobs, and the state and the federal government, as well as the counties and the cities, should work together with the corporations and have government run jobs as well. And they should work together for the purpose of making sure that these people all land jobs after they graduate. And if we did it this way, we would see graduation rates go way up, and we see unemployment rates go way down. This is key in fixing the economy. This is key in the future for the children and for the United States of America and beyond. Point number 10. People should discuss why, in a very corrupt planet where technology and brain hacking is very problematic, to say the least, that abortion rights are not being considered a human right. Point number 11. People should rally to make sure that people are not being coerced sexually and otherwise by straight or gay people alike. So we need to really look at this thing in a comprehensive manner and say what's going on in regards to sexual coercion, sextortion, what have you. Point number 12. People should make sure that everyone understands the differences between conservatives and liberals, as opposed to Democrats and Republicans, what have you. So, for example, according to Collins Dictionary, a conservative is someone who is disposed to preserve existing conditions, institutions, or to restore. Someone who's, disposed to restore traditional ones. We see that a conservative is someone who's adverse to change. These are qualities and characteristics that we see in more than just conservatives. We see these unfortunate characteristics in many people who describe themselves as Democrats. And so people lose the democratic vision. And keep in mind, it's important to note that as a result of me having an open mind, I've come up with a system that's better than one that is a democracy. Okay, and again, we don't all have to agree on everything. But when we consider the democratic vision, it's very sad that the Democrats aren't being true to what it means to be a Democrat. And if they were, they would have won every election, at least in my lifetime, since the early 80s. Now, people should understand the difference between these two ideas. The difference in the differences. Okay, according to Wikipedia, conservatism is a cultural, social, and political philosophy and ideology which seeks to promote and preserve traditional institutions, customs, and values. So there's universal values that transcend traditional institution, customs, and values, at least in their sum total forms. For example, the idea of universal pinpoint and moral precision, as opposed to putting white supremacy first. The idea of accountability and transparency, as opposed to what Kennedy described as secret oaths, secret meetings, secret proceedings, and secret societies. And so we see that true liberalism has never really expressed itself to a large degree in the United States of America. There's been a lot of funny business going on. Okay, so let me just wrap this up here. I can go on and on about that, and if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it in the comments, what have you. Feel free to comment, please, don't hesitate. I truly believe in transparency and accountability. If I've said anything that people feel like I should be held accountable for, please put in the comments. I can truly look back at my life, at the history of my life, and all the sabotage and abuse, all the covert drugging and poisoning that I've endured, and I can hold my head high and know that I have nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes I made minor mistakes, but there were no major mistakes. Okay. Point number 13. People should insist on logical and organized rallies where we thoroughly consider the social orders, as every moment of the Democratic Party's history has been darkened by secret oaths, secret meetings, secret orders, and secret societies. So I put by secret orders, secret meetings, secret oaths, and secret societies. Okay. Point number 13. People should insist on plenty of funding for massive food and housing programs. Point number 14. There should be transparency, and the Democratic Party should be interested in government efficiency. Point number 15. There should be wealth taxes for health care and Social Security. Point number 16. Romantic justice should be explored in truth. So those are 16 points that I came up with. Let me quickly explain to you what my priorities are. My first priority is to do God's work. That's my main priority, which includes romantic justice, especially for me. because I've proven I'm the most righteous person that could ever possibly live. And this has to be said. It's not an arrogant statement or a statement of a cocky person. It's essential fact. Only from there do you get the other things that I'm concerned with.